Welcome everybody, this is Chris Dwayne from ChrisDwayneSilverShieldCoins.com. Every week I release 2 new mini mintages that are available for 1 week only and tend to go up in price and value on eBay. You can find them all over at ChrisDwayneSilverShieldCoins.com. Today I want to talk about how silver is the only way out. When everything in the world fails, silver will be seen as the only cure. It is a divine super metal that was forged in supernovas. Silver price is going to have to supernova past all dollar targets. Do not get shaken out of any dollar price offered. This is a trick to get you to sell your real wealth for paper promises. Right now, the world is in a race to the bottom of currency debasement. US, Europe, China, and Japan are all printing money at untold levels to cover their debts. China right now, I was shocked to learn that has over $48 trillion worth of debt, larger than the United States' $38 trillion worth of debt. But the United States has $9 trillion that it has to roll over and refinance this year at higher interest rates. And this is all coming down in 2026, in a year that we're already going to have $2 trillion a year deficit as Trump makes the largest war and largest military budget from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion, and that's to keep ahead of the $1 trillion in interest that we have alone. This is an end game for the death of the dollar that they can trap with either printing more money or raising interest rates, which would attract new capital, but then it would make the debt that they have to pay back only able to do it if they can roll over more debt. There is only one way out of this, and it's through inflation. Silver is going to be seen as the only means of surviving this, not the dollar, not gold, and certainly not Bitcoin. Silver is the nexus of financial, political, technological, industry, energy, military, and even spiritual power. For decades, silver has been manipulated down to give strength to the dollar. Well, now that game is over. We are experiencing the end of a 45-year cup and handle formation for silver, where they shorted paper silver contracts to suppress the price of silver, and now the banks are caught short over 400 paper claims for each single physical ounce that they have there. The game is coming to an end, and now is the time to get silver, even at $80, because once it goes to 100, it's going to go to 1,000. Now comes time for the global generational debt-based fiat Ponzi scheme to pop. This will result in a crack-up boom where inflation will destroy the currency just to keep the Ponzi pumping. Unlimited money is going to chase after the last ounces of silver, which will make it into unobtainium. This is the end of the world destruction of all values. And it's not just the United States, it's the whole world is endeavoring on the same fiat monetary creation. We're going to see that silver is the only way out, and silver destroys the returns of the dollar, gold, and Bitcoin. For 14 years, Bitcoin has risen over silver, but that ended in 2025 when silver went up 147% and Bitcoin went down 6%. Now we will see a reversion of the mean of silver over Bitcoin. And remember that Bitcoin is a United States government created monetary bioweapon used to track, trace, trap, and map all criminality on the blockchain. So when Trump and his administration says that they're going to make the United States a crypto capital of the world, they're merely taking their Frankenstein money and using it to track against all criminal behavior. It is the ultimate law enforcement tool to confiscate and arrest international money laundering behind all crimes and tax evasion. When the system comes down, governments are going to use blockchain and civil asset forfeiture of cryptos to capture money launderers behind all criminality. This criminal liability will cost you more than you speculated in Bitcoin or any of these cryptos. Silver is going to be the only way out, and it's not too late. Bitcoin is going to suffer from the largest crash ever as it reverts back to its intrinsic value of zero. Silver, on the other hand, has more industrial uses than all the other metals combined and is being mined out of existence. Right now, the gold to silver ratio is 1 to 56, but the mining ratio that it comes out of the earth relative to gold is at a 1 to 6 ratio. For every 1 ounce of gold we find, only 6 ounces of silver are found. But what's more interesting is the vaulted ratio is 6 to 1. Gold to silver ratio, meaning that there's 6 times more gold in vaults just sitting there doing nothing, not industrial use, not medical use, not financial use, just sitting in vaults, just waiting for a financial collapse like this, and silver's going to outperform it. That means that the total above and below ground ratio is a 1-to-1 gold to silver ratio. This means that silver will go up 56 times over gold at the same time the whole world is going to melt down. All the asset markets are going to collapse in 2026, and silver is going to be seen as the only way out. Silver is at the very tip of a $2.5 quadrillion Exeter's pyramid of liquidity, and silver is the most used asset in industry and military. I would even go on to say that silver has a spiritual value to it as the only true money of people and the only way to defeat the goldmen. The gold has been held by the same banking powers that have manipulated nations into war and bankruptcy. For the goldmen are the final boss here on earth. They control everything, and silver is the only way to defeat them. A revaluation of silver over gold is not without limits. The rise of silver over gold would be an historical event in history. And I think 2026 is going to be a massive year for silver, as the silver shorts are priced out of the world stacks as the world stacks the real metal. 2025 saw silver rise 147% with very little news, and 2026 is where we're going to be seeing it even rise even further and faster as we reach a parabolic rise in silver terms of dollars, but it will be felt across all the currencies at the same time. It's not just the Hunt brothers trying to corner silver in 1980 to buy up silver. This is the whole world realizing that silver is the only way out, and they will all bid up silver with their failing currencies all over the world all at the same time. And we're going to have a sellout event where there's going to be paper prices claimed for silver, but nothing is available for people to stack. Those that are stacked are holding out for 10 times returns. This is not something that we're holding on for a few dollars in price return. This is for generational wealth, and the strongest hands will be the ones to hold through the hyperinflation until there's a new silver standard created to bring about a new world order. And you don't have to wait for your governments to do the right thing. You put yourself on your own silver standard when you take your money out of the bank and put it into silver. After the world collapses, that will be the time where you borrow against your silver for income-producing properties at a tax-free rate to create generational wealth. These stackers that do this, and listen to me, will be seen as a new nobility on earth. They will be new kings and queens of their own neighborhoods and their own areas with silver as money. Please make sure you go check out my website. It's ChrisDuane.SilverShieldCoins.com. I have a lot of information on there. The Sons of Liberty Academy. I have a gallery of the 600 different designs that I've done over the last 15 years for Silver Shield, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.